Mimi Francis of the Francis Home Team, coming to you today from Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina. This is the third of 4 videos laying out a path to home ownership for home buyers and providing an overview of the home buying process. In the first video, we talked about step 1, which is the getting ready stage. In the second video, we talked about the second step, which is finding the perfect home. And we ended the second video with the woohoo, you're under contract. Hey, congratulations. The third step is the contract to close process. It's very easy to believe that once we find you the right house, a realtor's job is done. And in fact, nothing could be further than the truth. Once we go under contract for one of our home buyers, that's when my team swings into high gear. There are a large number of players who have to be coordinated. All the little duckies have to line up for you to have a smooth and successful closing. We think it's wonderful when at closing a home buyer turns to us and say, oh my gosh, that was so much easier than I thought it was going to be. I heard it was going to be complicated. Well, we feel it's part of our job to make that process as smooth as we can for you. But there's quite a bit of work behind the scenes that's necessary. And one of the first things you're going to see is we'll swing into high gear to have inspections done. It's the policy of the Francis Home Team to have inspections done as quickly as possible, ideally within the first week that you're under contract. And there's at least 2 inspections that will happen in every case. The first is a whole house inspector. We have a number of North Carolina licensed inspectors that we work with. We're happy to speak with you if you have an inspector that you'd prefer us to use. And that inspector is going to come in and look at everything in your house. They're going to make sure every electrical outlet works. They're going to run the dishwasher. They're going to run the water. They're going to run the shower and flush the toilet at the same time to check your water pressure. They're going to go up into the attic, check for any evidence of water damage or any issues with the attic. They're going to go into the crawl space to make sure everything is good with the house structurally, there's no standing water, etc. That's a gotta-do inspection. Takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours. The second gotta-do inspection is a termite inspection. Actually, it's a pest and wood-destroying organisms inspection. They're going to look at any exposed wood. They're going to look at any evidence of termites or rot or funguses that can affect the integrity of the wood foundations of the house. North Carolina is a moderate to high termite area. It costs less than $100 and money could not be better spent. The last thing you want to do is purchase a house that's got a major termite or fungus issue going on. Those inspectors may recommend additional inspectors. The home inspector may look at the chimney and say, I'm concerned about the structural integrity of the chimney, or I'm concerned about creosote buildup, or I'm concerned about a crack. You should get a chimney specialist in. They might also see some evidence of uneven settling in the home and recommend that we have a structural engineer. And we want to make sure that there's plenty of time to have all of the inspections done, get the results back, and negotiate repairs during that due diligence period. We'll take the results of the inspection, we're going to sit down with you, and we're going to make a list of those items that we'd like the seller to correct or repair. Now we're going to send that off to the seller. The seller has 3 choices. The seller can say, okay, I'm going to fix everything. Great, just what we want to hear. The seller can say, hey, I'll fix this and this, but not that and that. And then there's a mini round of negotiations as we work that out with the seller. Or the seller can say, I ain't fixing nothing, which is absolutely the seller's right in North Carolina. Buyer then has the option of saying, okay, I accept what you've offered for repairs, or we're going to negotiate because I accept this and this, but not that and that, or okay, I ain't gonna buy the house. And as long as we're within the due diligence period, buyer can absolutely withdraw from the purchase of the house, terminate that contract, and move on to another home or a more amenable seller. Interestingly, in North Carolina law, the buyer can withdraw during the due diligence period, but the seller cannot. It's buyer's choice whether they want to continue and buy. Seller is obligated to sell the house at the terms that were discussed, negotiated, continued. So as we're coordinating people behind the scenes, there's also going to be financing activity going on. And I share with my home buyers, financing is going to be an interesting process in that there's a flurry of activity in the beginning as you're preparing and pulling together all of the documents your lender needs, and then you're not going to hear anything for a couple of weeks. The reason for that is the lender is going to compile your file. It's going to go to the bottom of a file, a pile of files on an underwriter's desk, and it's going to move up to the top. stop. You won't hear anything for a couple of weeks, but when your file is the next file to be opened, underwriting is going to look very closely at the file. Underwriting manages risk for the bank and may very well come back with some additional questions. So a flurry of activity, not much going on the lending side, and then a flurry of activity as you respond to underwriting's request and we move on to closing. Lots of characters behind the scene, lots of coordination. On the Francis Home Team, we take pride in keeping you posted, and we hope well educated along the line. We believe very strongly each of our home buyers and home sellers should learn through the process and should be a better educated home buyer, home seller on the other end. Hey, if you have any questions or would like to discuss the home buying or selling process, please give us a call. We're at 919-882-3276. We're going to look forward to hearing from you and having the opportunity to serve you or someone you know who's thinking about buying or selling a home in the Triangle area.